guys, what I'm doing today is making my own security for the Discovery. Now that's not on the vehicle, that is for the driveway. I'm going to make a removable security beam, barrier if you like, whichever, that you can lift in and out of the ground, which is a big thing. Obviously we all know everything in relation to Land Rovers gets stolen at the drop of a hat. So what I'm trying to do is prevent that. Now it's on the road, or it will be on the road Saturday 1st of April, because we're just waiting for that to turn for the tax. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting some steel. What I'm doing is cutting a piece of steel which I'm going to plate over another piece of steel. Fits lovely inside. Obviously that'll then turn into a bit of a runway for it, so it'll sit nicely inside there. This will go into the ground, obviously upright. That'll slot in between. I'm going to plate this out as well. On the top I'm going to make a cap with a mechanism where I can obviously bolt them together, padlock them together, so jobs are good. And so what I'm going to do is just show you quickly weld this plate in here, with this obviously able to slide in and out, and then I'll get on and bring you back, introduce photos as and when it's something worth knowing, basically. What you've got to bear in mind when obviously you're making things fit into something else, if I'm painting this up, paint, surprisingly enough, anyone who knows that they've ever drilled a hole and painted it, then often you don't get a bolt through again afterwards. You have to re-drill it, because paint does take, even if it's a mil or two worth of space up. So you've got to allow that extra bit of room for manoeuvrability for things to get fit in with each other. So what I'm going to do is tack it in place first, both ends, keeping it 100% level. That bit can come back down a little bit. When you're welding, what you tend to do is if you weld one side, you'll tend to get a little bit of distortion, and the other side just lifts up a little bit towards the weld. So you might bear that in mind. You just have to tap down or manipulate the opposite side, which you do a little bit here. Right guys, so that is my upright. Obviously it's going to be welded thoroughly all the way down. That's going to sit into the ground, as you can see, sit straight into the ground. That's going to be plated over, this is going to be plated over in one, and that is going to sit in there like that. Now if that's not secure, I don't know what isn't, or what is rather. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'll bring you back in stages with photos, and let you know how it's going, because obviously you don't need to see me cutting steel and on all that palaver. I'll bring you back every so often so you can get an update, and hopefully if you've got a security issue with where you live or out, you could do something similar, get something made up yourself. Because the things you buy ain't going to be anywhere near as strong as what this is going to be. So getting a vehicle past this is going to be very, very slim picking in it. So yeah, I'll crack on. So catch up with you soon. To stage of ready to put me the lid on, the ground anchor if you like. And what I've done basically, just got a piece of piping. It'll vary for everybody, so it's relevant sizes and stuff. Piece of piping, measured up. 2 sections on the ground anchor, one on the lid. They'll obviously sit down, link together. And I've got an old bolt, a strong solid bolt. She's going to go straight through the middle. I'm going to weld it solidly either end, so it's tamper proof. Flip over, and that's where it stands. And what I'm going to do now is just quickly show you welding the ends in, and then that unfortunately is me done today because work calls, disappointingly. That's the way it goes. What I do suggest actually, one good idea is, before actually connecting it up, because it'll need it, coating it with grease. Just help it when it's in position. Just coat the pin in grease. Shove it in, what the hell. Just like that. Plenty on the main shaft, but obviously on the ends I'm going to clear it off because it's going to be knit welded, so I'll just make a mess. The main shaft can be absolutely lathered in it, but the end obviously has to be clean. Right, going this way I think. Rid of the excess. What I've done, I've cut the bolt just slightly shy of either end, so when it's welded in place, the weld will sit down and bite better, and I can also get plenty more in as well. That's going to hold it. That is the grease burning, which I'm going to clean off in a minute. So I'll flip it over, do the other end properly. That ain't going anywhere. So as you can see, that piece is fully finished. Some of the grease is probably burnt out, but that doesn't matter. That's my ground anchor. I'm obviously going to put it in the ground, but I'm going to be having just lumps of scrap metal off it. So, just idly piddly, it doesn't matter. So when it's put in the ground and cemented, obviously it's got lips to hold it down in place. So there you go. Oozing grease. That's what we're looking at the moment. So it's not taken long at all to build or make, just from the metal that was hanging about. So I hope the second part of the process is going to be just as easy. Okay, progress is being made. One side upright, obviously the plates are all cut. One side upright's all welded on. Obviously, to bear in mind that you need your plates to slide in and out of each other, which that does, and I've made sure obviously it can do it from both ends, just in case. Didn't have enough steel to do it all in one go, so I've just cut an extra piece at the end, obviously made it so I can butt plate it, so leaving about 2.5mm in between, chamfered off So obviously when you weld down the centre there, you're going to get nice clean weld underneath as well, which will knit them both together and keeping in with the strength. So that's where we're at the moment. So the next stage would be, it's going to be welding all the way down there and the butt weld across there, a cap on either end, sealed, and then obviously after that I'm going to put on the base I'm going to put a couple of, or maybe even just one strand across there, which is going to obviously allow it to sit into the bottom, but if there's any water that does get in, which it will obviously in this weather, it's going to allow it to remove itself, soak away. As I've said before, some scrap steel coming out of there, so when it's sitting the ground cemented over, it can't be just be yanked out. I'm going to put a handle on the topmost part of here, just something or nothing, just to allow a bit of leverage in cold weather if it freezes in or whatever. Bit of leverage out. Let's see how far we get. So far what we have progress wise is completed bar, obviously sticking out the ground. Decided to have a handle on it as well. Added a handle on it for those bad weather, if it's frozen in the floor or something, you can give it a whittle or whatever, give it a pull, a yank. Locking mechanism is there, which links onto there, so when it's dropped in, that's your lid, lift it up, put it in, bring it over, that obviously meets that bolt, padlock goes on it, and then obviously what I've done is put a plate on it here, and that plate is to basically stop any tampering, just to give it a little bit more security. So undercoat is going on now, just a hand spray out of a can, and then obviously same with this. They're the extra little bits and pieces that are to concrete in, help any pulling movement or anything, any tampering again. So that's where we are. So my plan now is to do some spraying, get it all sprayed up. It's not a bad day, so I'm going to leave it all outside. It's going to be black, so I want to do a semi-nice job with it being obviously at the front of the house. You don't want it to look horrible or like that. Let's see how we get on.